That's this system that we're dealing with right now. Of course, we do have the winter storm warnings in effect, that darker shade of blue, winter weather advisories for a place like Boston, where you've seen some mixing going on with the rain, all rain down towards Cape Cod, actually. And even New York City, we had snow for a little bit, and then we went over to rain late last night. But the snow is coming down still in Hartford, picked up a couple of inches of snow there so far. Boston, we're back in the snow. How about that? We got the darker blue showing up, showing where that snow is a bit heavier across the Mohawk Valley. This snow has got staying power throughout the day today, the Adirondacks through New England, especially the coast of Maine, where it's not just the snow, it's the wind that's going to be cranking as that low pressure goes on by to the east of Cape Cod. Wind advisories in effect. We're talking winds of 40 to 50 miles an hour out there in Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard. So be careful. These winds are buffeting the 95, and that means the potential for airport delays as well. System, strong southerly winds. That means a rainy time for the Ozarks over towards St. Louis and Indianapolis, but the cold air wraps around, and that brings in the snow from Des Moines down to Kansas City along I-35. Chicago, we see the snow in your future as we head towards Wednesday. Certainly during the day Wednesday, we've got the wind that will continue throughout this region. So even after the snow is done, that snow is going to be picked up and lofted around. Chicago officially going 2 to 3, but much more just west of there. And mountainous areas of western, the higher elevations before it goes over to rain.
No doubt about it. Now the wind, nice and calm, very tranquil. This is again on Tuesday, not today, because you know the wind is strong in Boston. But notice how we do see things ramp up once again.
Here comes the snow, hill towns, right? You've got the rain that takes over, though, moving from west to east. Hudson Valley this go around, it is rain and wind, very gusty wind.
And probably going to melt a lot of the snow that we have here. Yeah, so that's going to get absorbed in the soil, and then you have the additional moisture, and that I think could give us a flooding situation.
It's a mess as we go through Thursday. It tapers off, but look at the rain, 2 to 3 inches in that darker green. That's on top of some of the snowpack that we're seeing now. So it's not going to take much to flood in some of these spots.
Not at all. Not at all to trigger that flooding. So that is certainly something to consider Tuesday morning, Wednesday morning. And a lot of this may be at low light conditions, so that's something to consider. Please be careful. Hey, let's shine some light on New York.
Weather
in the
coming days.
Yeah, and this is where you have it. Again, our second severe weather season, right along the I-10, I-20 corridor. All the elements are there for what could be a very stormy situation.
Yeah, so you've got Houston, New Orleans, and Mobile, Alabama, western panhandle of Florida. We can't rule out tornadoes. Torcon 3 for the day tomorrow, 3 out of 10, which means it can happen.
And several rounds of it coming from a variety of locations. One source of origin will be the Gulf of Mexico, but then you've got a lot of the energy moving from west to east.
Yeah, so you got that one cluster coming in from the Gulf front itself. The cold front that comes through eastern Texas into Louisiana, and between the two, wow, you've got a huge mess for much of Louisiana, pushing into Mississippi. Any one of these storms could turn severe or tornadic.
That is an ugly line right there. And even if we don't have the tornadoes, straight line winds are more than enough to cause damage, tree damage, power outages, and flooding. That's also in the picture too.
In fact, it's likely around New Orleans. You might have a deficit of 23 inches, but you get too much rain, that can lead to issues. Severe threat shifts over to the southeast coast as we head into Tuesday.
You're right. It just keeps on rolling. I mean, it just seems like an unstoppable machine, and sure enough, you get into the midday hours, and you've got it through Dothan, through Atlanta. Looks like later in the afternoon, it begins to make its way to Jacksonville at Daytona Beach.
Yeah, but watch out. More lightning, more heavy rain into Florida.